Fox News alert: the White House and Senate are warning Russian aggression may soon reach America in the form of a cyber attack. How you can protect you and your family. Joining me now are Texas Congressman Tony Gonzales and Ronnie Jackson. Congressman, thank you so much for joining me. Congressman Gonzales, you specialize in cyber warfare. What should we do to protect ourselves?
Yeah, I spent 20 years as a cryptologist, and one thing I can tell you, the Russians have been attacking the United States for a very long time. We've seen that with the Colonial Pipeline. We've seen that with meat production facilities, water plants. It's time for America to go on the offensive, right? We have to deter. We have to show strength, peace through strength, and we do that by using our cyber capabilities. We have to protect not only our citizens, but also our businesses. You know, right now, Putin is showing the world. He wanted to be on the world stage, and what he's showing is he is a fragile old man. And Russia has been conducting cyber attacks against Ukraine since 2014, and they have failed, right? They failed, and they have reverted to 19th century tactics. War tactics. What does that mean? That means perhaps Russia's cyber capabilities aren't as strong as we let them out to believe. On the other end, you've got the Ukrainians that are fighting an amazing battle. You know, behind me is the city of San Antonio. The Ukrainians are having a Remember the Alamo moment, right? You've seen that with Snake Island being defiant against the Russians there. You've seen that with President Zelensky. We need to support them, and America needs to support them by helping them with cyber.
Congressman Jackson, thank you for your service as well. What has taken us so long to go on the offense? I mean, Russia didn't just start attacking. They've been attacking for a while. We knew that they were going to get to this position. So why isn't the U.S. doing more from a cyber standpoint? Do we have the resources to do that?
Well, we've got the resources and we've got the people in place to do it, Lawrence. We just haven't had the will to do it. We have not had our eye on the ball for a long time now. And Congressman Gonzales can attest to this. I've been in Congress for a year, so has he. And we've had very few hearings that relate to anything involving Russia, China, Iran, national security threats. We've been worrying about this woke social agenda that the Biden administration has been pushing. And that's all we've talked about. That's all we've had our focus on. And now it's coming back to haunt us, quite honestly. And, this is a window of opportunity for Putin. He sees this as this weakness from Biden. We're not leading on the global front anymore from a foreign affairs standpoint. I just got back from the Munich Security Summit, and it was very obvious that we were not in a leadership role anymore. We were not gathering support from European countries, from NATO countries, and taking a lead on this. So we're adrift right now with regards to our response, and it just doesn't surprise me because we have complete lack of leadership in this current administration.
Congressman Gonzales, what do we need to do right now? If you had the authority to come up with a plan for the president to implement right now to protect the homeland when it comes to cyber, what do we need to do right now?
Yeah, there's three things that come to mind. One thing, last year there were 4,103 Russians that entered the United States illegally through the southern border. What does that tell you? That's tell you Russians are trying to flee Vladimir Putin as fast as can be. So we need to reach out to the Russian people and say, look, there's opportunities to come to the United States if you want to. On the battlefield in Ukraine, I think one is implementing a no-fly zone in western Ukraine. NATO can do that. NATO, we've seen this humanitarian crisis spiral. I mean, you're seeing the civilian casualties rise. Protect the civilians in Ukraine by enforcing a no-fly zone in western Ukraine. And Americans, everyday Americans, we can't wait for the Biden administration to do something. All of us can do something today, and this is what we can do. We can embargo Russian goods, right? From vodka to natural gas. We should be saying no to Russia right now on all fronts. And then the cyber attack. I mean, the cyber front is something very real, something we need to take the gloves off our intelligence community and allow them to protect not only our citizens, but also the Ukrainians.
Congressman Jackson?
I agree, Lawrence. And the other thing we need to do, we should be working with our allies in NATO right now to define exactly what is an Article 5 violation. What's going to trigger that? Because when you're talking about kinetic warfare, we all understand, when the red line has been crossed in that regard. But when it comes to cyber and space, we were talking about this at the Munich Security Council. It's not real clear where that red line is and what constitutes Article 5. When NATO is going to come together and say, this attack against one is attack against all. But we need to be approaching cyber from a NATO NATO standpoint as well when it comes to Russia, and we haven't defined that. But, right now we don't have any ability to intimidate Putin. But he is not the least bit afraid of Biden or what the Biden administration is going to do in response to anything he does in Ukraine.
Yeah. Congressman Gonzales Jackson, thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Lawrence.